The time is now. I know I said about a month ago I'd be reviewing in animation celebration form Wonder Woman from 2009. Well, things got busy, times got hectic, and it got pushed back. But this Monday, for Monday Movie Mayhem, is Animation Celebration Wonder Woman 2009. Enjoy. I have to say from the start, I love seeing that the runtime is 1 hour and 13 minutes. Anything less than an hour and a half makes me happy when it comes to a feature film, whether it's live action or animation. We begin on Themyscira? Question mark. Seemingly, it has been invaded by demonic creatures. This is from the past, right? Diana's mom, Hippolyta, in her prime, fighting off Ares, the god of war. This is one big fight. Ares is clearly voiced by Alfred Molina, and I'm enjoying this so much. Hippolyta's lead general, Artemis, is 100% voiced by Rosario Dawson. Such great voice acting in this. It's interesting seeing an Amazonian pacifist. Artemis is talking to her, and she says, a fire line. She says, if you can't fight like an Amazon, you can die like an Amazon. And, that's just a very good glimpse into their mentality. And it shows depth to the characters of the Amazons, showing that not all of them are warrior women, and that one of them can be with a different mentality. And it's just funny to hear Rosario Dawson, tell another character that if you can't, fight like us, you can, die as an Amazon. Hippolyta and Ares had a son, and I say had because Hippolyta killed him, and Ares loses focus after his death in this massive fight. As Hippolyta goes to kill Ares, the voice of Zeus tells her, "No, don't kill my son," which is funny because she just killed her own son. This fight wasn't happening on Themyscira, it turns out. And the way I know it is because the paradise island of Themyscira is gifted to Hippolyta and the Amazons for her showing mercy and not killing Ares, the son of Zeus. After the war has ended, we see Diana's classic origin with her being made of sand and the blood of Hippolyta and Hera, the wife of Zeus, bringing the child to life in a massive storm. Once again, seemingly as a gift to the Amazons for showing mercy to Zeus in his request. It's that part's not explicitly stated, but it's just the impression I get. Many years pass, and the daughter, the princess, has grown up. Diana looks to be maybe 15 or 17 or I don't know, 18, 19, whatever. But the funny part is that in dialogue, it's stated later on that centuries have passed since that war. So even though none of the Amazons seem to have aged, Diana has grown to a maturity level from being a sand baby. And so her and Artemis are training in combat, and Diana is cocky, but she's backing it all up and wins this sparring contest. Hippolyta, Diana's mother, compliments both women on the skills they've displayed. Diana is not happy with her training. The reason Diana is not happy with her training is because she feels as though that they're on Paradise Island and the training is never going to be utilized in the way that it should. and her friend Alexa is also dissatisfied. They both want to go out and explore what they call man's world. So Hippolyta takes them to see Ares, who is imprisoned on Paradise Island. This is intended to be a lesson to both of the women to show that men are less than. And it seems to imply that Hippolyta believes all men are like Ares, I guess. Ares is funny though. He tells Diana that she is right to be afraid. He says that I am more than a god, I am a force of nature. And so Alfred Molina put in a powerful performance here. And Kerry Russell is doing a good job of getting the point across that Diana is, young and impressionable. And so they both do good here, but after this introduction to Diana of Ares, we are then introduced to the leading man of the movie, who is voiced by Nathan Fillion. He's playing Steve Trevor. He and his team of fighter pilots are on a mission, and I'm enjoying this take on the character because Steve and Hippolyta stand out. They both are classic but modernized just enough to where they feel almost timeless in their approaches. After establishing Steve, we return back to Paradise Island where Diana is with a horse, and they both seem to feel caged, and so Diana is taking the horse out for a run, which, as a person familiar with comics, I know that this is so Diana can be there to find Steve when his plane goes down on the island, which turns out is going down right now. Steve's ejector seat isn't working at the same moment that the invisible island becomes visible. It's so beautiful. Steve must believe that he's died and gone to heaven right up until Artemis and a bunch of warrior women attack him. Steve is running away and falls down where Diana is, and she says, "Surrender, you cannot escape." They go at it, and she wins. When Steve wakes up from being knocked out, he says, "Wow, I haven't had this dream since I was 13." Artemis is not pleased and backhands Steve. Diana is put on guard duty to prevent her from participating in a contest that Hippolyta is having all of the Amazons take part in to figure out who is taking Steve back to man's world. However, when Diana is going to do what she was instructed to do, Alexa, the pacifist Amazon, comes to relieve Diana, knowing that she desires to leave the island. And so, with Alexa knowing she has no interest in combat, she relieves Diana and allows her to go take part in the contest. Diana is so grateful for this that she hugs Alexa and says, "You are my heart." And immediately I remember that a line is coming up, which is, "The heart wants what the heart wants." I forgot exactly what the context was, but I remembered the line is coming up. As the contest begins, Hippolyta says to all the Amazons, "Fight with honor." Artemis is so funny, telling Steve Trevor she will castrate him if he comes within 5 feet of the princess. Persephone, who is one of the warrior women who has been on guard for Ares over the years, she's the one who Diana was supposed to relieve from guard duty. However, because Diana's not there and Alexa is, Persephone kills Alexa. And that's the craziest thing about this movie. Had Alexa not relieved Diana, she could have died so early on. And in the moment of Alexa's death, she asks Persephone, why? What happened? What's going on? And in those dying moments, that's when Persephone says to her that the heart wants what the heart wants. After there's nobody in her way, Persephone frees Ares from his prison, and he says, after a centuries-long courtship, we are finally together. And so that moment that I forgot the specifics to, but remembered was coming. We go back to the tournament and see Diana has become victorious, and Hippolyta is honorable and allows her daughter to be the one to take Steve back to man's world. After the Amazons realize they've been betrayed, before Diana leaves with Steve, Hippolyta is shaken but knows what needs to happen. I enjoy the logic behind how Wonder Woman gets her invisible jet, which is the Amazons have used the technology, if that's what you want to call it, the technology or the magic or whatever it is that they have to hide their island. They use that to repair Steve's downed jet, and that is how that Diana now has an invisible jet. It was just really smart writing, and it makes me wonder if that's always been the logic behind how she had an invisible jet, or if it was something created for this. I forgot to check that. This movie is about halfway done so far. It feels like a 5-star movie to me, and I hope that we can keep that feeling going. But on the subject of feelings, I feel like now is a good time to talk to you about the link that is in the description of this video. It will take you to Indiegogo, where you can pick up a plethora of options when it comes to my 68-page graphic novel, Everlasting Survivors. There are 5 separate cover options. There's a t-shirt, there's a hat, there are posters, all kinds of things, and anybody who backs gets a Gamble comic sticker. And so thank you for tuning into this video. Thank you for clicking the link in the description. And if you can't back right now, I understand times might be tough, but what you can do to be helpful is click subscribe to this channel and tune in to all the videos, because that's a way to help get the word out just by sharing the videos, by liking and subscribing and clicking the bell icon for notifications. But yeah, back to the video. I love this voice cast so much. Nathan Fillion is a national treasure, and Keri Russell is doing great when it comes to Diana, or now Wonder Woman, because before Diana left the Paradise Island, she was gifted with the attire to adorn before she goes to man's world, and that's why she's got the red, white, and blue and the gold to show that she's a friendly when they get to America. I especially enjoy when Keri asks Nathan, "Must you flirt?" and he says it's only natural. It's just, it feels right when you think about Nathan Fillion, the character, or the actor playing the character. Trevor calls Diana's home Chastity Belt Island, which is, priceless. I just I love his version of this character. When Steve gets back to America, he takes Diana to a bar and they're drinking tequila, but it sure seems as though it isn't affecting her, but he is quite drunk and I'm laughing at it. He goes for a kiss and she moves and he hits his chin on the bar stool. Now that they're outside, Diana's being all high and mighty about the situation, and then muggers come up, and Diana tells Steve, "Give them nothing." She says these muggers are no match for my Amazonian training, and Steve also thinks that he can take on the muggers, only to find out that these muggers aren't muggers and they're not human. These are demons sent by Ares. This leads to a great fight, finished off with a suicide spot from the demon who'd rather die before giving up information on Ares. The only thing is that there's been stories told about a cult of Ares on Paradise Island. So Diana and Steve track down the cult of Ares, which Diana, like I said, she's known about its existence for since ancient times. The two of them fight so well together, which is kind of surprising given their young friendship. But they find Ares and Persephone are at the cult's house, and Ares is trying to sacrifice someone, and Diana and Steve try to stop them. This movie is just so much fun. Somehow, Ares is able to summon a statue of a gargoyle to life, and it is now fighting on his side. Steve rides the gargoyle. This is just a whole thing is nuts. While distracted with the gargoyle stuff, Ares is able to do the sacrifice and summon a portal to the underworld. So he and Persephone walk through the portal. They are confronted by a three-headed hellhound, and Ares offers. Well, he didn't. He is able to get past it and move on to meet with his uncle Hades, and make him an offer. Ares offers his uncle a bunch of servants if he will just free him from the way that he's been bound by the Amazons. And so Hades does free him, but before he's released, he offers his nephew. He says, "Could I get you anything?" And he has a servant come up, and it is revealed that it is Ares' son that is enslaved to Hades, and so it's just some heavy stuff going on here. Back on Earth with Diana, she wakes up in the hospital and sees Steve, and she's big mad at him for letting Ares get away, and she's playing the sexist card, saying that Steve wouldn't have saved her if she wasn't a woman. And he was like, "I saved you because we're on the same team here." He's like, "No man left behind," and all that type of stuff. And because Diana has been taught to think so little of men, she didn't even think about him seeing her as an equal. Alfred Molina's Ares, with some great heel work, says that he's out to spread the gospel of death, and his demons have taken over Washington, D.C. I mean, in this movie, not just in real life. And the President of the United States wants war. Again, talking about the movie, not real life. Although I can forgive anybody who's confused with Washington, D.C. being overrun the way that it is. The Amazons leave the Paradise Island. It's a big way for Hippolyta to show her daughter that she is important to her. It's very good stuff. I actually really appreciated that they had that choice being made, but it's revealed in short order that the choice to have the Amazons leave Paradise Island is because the president's advisors suggest to him to strike the magical island because it appears to be where all of this stuff is coming from, the bad big fight stuff. But I'm sure they're all also convinced that war is the answer because the god of war is going to war with the world. And so Steve takes back his now invisible plane to try and stop the missile strike from happening. Ares has grown so strong that he can now command the dead Amazonians to rise up and join his forces against the living Amazonians. Once the dead Alexa is risen and is fighting with Artemis, she keeps repeating a phrase, and Artemis repeats it back to her in confusion, and thankfully Artemis did say it back because it was a phrase to free them from the grip of Ares' control. And now that Artemis is dead, her pacifism ways are gone, and she and all the other dead Amazons are back to fighting on the Amazon side. Ares and Wonder Woman have destroyed the White House, which is, probably for the best for the country. Steve shoots down the missile and that the president had launched on Paradise Island with his invisible missile that he didn't even know that the plane had. Persephone is taken out, but in her final words, she calls into question the Amazons' whole lifestyle and if life is even worth living the way that they do. This movie is freaking spectacular. It's a 6 out of 5 to me. Wonder Woman decapitates Ares, unlike her mother, who hesitated before Diana doesn't wait, and um, she goes all the way and finishes off the fight. It's funny that the U.S. government called the Amazons armored supermodels. This movie is just a lot of fun. Ares is now in hell because of Wonder Woman taking him out, and he, along with his son, are both servants of Hades. It was just a crazy turn of events, and we get a great finish where Diana is made ambassador to the outside world for Themyscira, and we get a spectacular spectacle of a fight to end everything where Wonder Woman takes on Cheetah. It's just fun, fun, fun.